Hey guys, my name is Cal, and in today's tutorial we're going to be sorting a list view in Android Studio using Java. We're also going to be creating a little toolbar at the top so that you can hide and show different parts, so whether you want to hide all the search stuff or whether you want to hide all the sort stuff, just because there's a lot of stuff by the time you get your search window, your filter tabs and then your search tabs, it's about half the screen. So this is the third video in a series I've done on this with my shaped list example. In the first video we built the list view. In the second video we made it so that you could search and filter the list, and in this video we're going to be able to sort the list either by name or via ID. So if you haven't seen those videos yet, go check them out. Link in the description below. There's also a link to all of the different source codes, so I'll make sure I put all three in there. So yeah, we're going to build the toolbar in the first half of the video. The second half of the video we're going to get the sort working, and in the third sort of final part we're going to get the sort working with all of our filter and our search. Cool, so let's get started. To start, I'm just going to build the simple toolbar. So I'm just putting in, you can see there it's Android X toolbar. I'm giving it a grey background, and then I'm just going to put in a couple of buttons. So one button is going to be sort, so that's going to be a toggle, sort and hide, and one is going to be for the filter, so that's going to be all my filter tabs and the search menu. And then I'm just going to give it a text view in the middle there with the app name. This isn't necessary, but it's a nice little touch. Next I'm just going to add in a quick color, red. I realized that my buttons and my text look exactly the same, so I'm just giving my buttons red there just so you can distinguish between the two. Next I'm just going to set some IDs, so you can see I've got sort button there and filter button down below. And then I'm going to give my linear layouts an ID as well, so filter tabs layout, and I'm just going to copy and paste that onClick method there, and I'm going to change that to show filter tabbed, and just create the method there, and then the same thing for our sort button, so show sort tabbed. Next I'm just going to give my second linear layout an ID, so filter tabs 2, and I'm just going to copy and paste that linear layout because we're going to do a very similar thing with our sort tabs. So I'm just renaming this one to ID ascending and ID descending, and so we're actually going to have 4, and then we're going to have name ascending and name descending. So you can see I'm just renaming all of those there. And then I'm going to rename the IDs, rename the onClick listeners, and create the methods as well. So let's see if we can get the show hide working for both our filter and sort menu. So I'm just going to declare our sort button, I'm going to declare our filter button, and I'm just going to declare our linear layouts. So we've got 2 filter linear layouts and 1 sort linear layout. Our search view text has already been declared, so we don't need to do that. And I'm just calling this method here init widgets. I probably could have come up with a better name. So yeah, hopefully you've become pretty comfortable with finding views by their ID like this. Next, in our onCreate method, I'm just going to create 2 new methods, hide filter and hide sort. So just to hide everything on load. And then I'm just going to copy and paste and bring them down here, just because it makes a bit more sense to have them down here. And then in our hide methods, I'm just going to hide all of the layouts or the search view, depending on whether or not it's part of the filter or the sort. And then I'm just going to copy and paste both of those methods and do the opposite, so show filter, show sort. And for each of these methods, we're just going to set the text to whatever the correct text is for that button. So filter or hide or sort. Next, I'm just going to head right back up to the top and declare a couple of booleans, sort hidden and filter hidden. I'm just initializing them to be true, as everything's going to be hidden on load. Next, with those booleans, we're just going to create a simple toggle. So if filter hidden is equal to true, set it to false, and if it's equal to false, set it to true, and then just call the appropriate method. And the same thing for sort as well. And one thing I got wrong was I set these views to invisible, and they actually need to be gone. So I'm just fixing that up now. And then I'm going to run, and you can see that we've got 2 working buttons, and it's hiding the appropriate stuff. One thing I will say though is I didn't really like the whole color. It looked pretty ugly going grey, white, grey. So I've just changed a few colors around. But yeah, that's just purely cosmetic. Cool, so let's get our sort buttons working next. I'm just going to head over to our shape class and I'm going to declare a new comparator of type shape. I'm going to call it ID ascending and then I'm going to say is equal to new comparator, and I'm just going to auto complete out this method here. Cool, and you can see we've got our override compare method there. I'm just going to rename that shape1 and I'm going to call this shape2. Next, I'm just going to pass both of the IDs to integer. So integer.value of shape1's ID, and do the same thing for shape2, so get the integer value of the ID, and then I'm going to return integer.compare ID to ID2. And what this does is most of the heavy lifting of sorting our list. So I just need to call this now, so I'm going to head back into our ID ascend tapped method, and I'm just going to say, well, I forgot to make this static, but I'm just going to say collections.sort shape list and then by our ID ascending comparator. And then I just need to apply that to our adapter. And then I'm just going to copy and paste that down for descending. And after I sort the list, I'm just going to say collections.reverse shape list. So the same thing, but reversed. And before we test this, I just want to put ID in our list view. So I'm just going to our shape adapter and I'm just saying shape.getID plus a bit of space and then the name. Cool, so a quick little test and you can see that it's sorting by ID, so 0 or 9 at the top. Let's make it work for the name now. So I'm just going to copy and paste that down. I'm just going to rename the method to name ascending, and instead of getting the integer value, I'm just going to declare a couple of strings, call it name1 and shape.getName1, and the same thing for name2, shape.getName for shape2. And I'm just going to set both of them to lowercase, and then I'm going to call name1.compare to name2. And then very similar to what we did with our ID, I'm just going to copy and paste that down again and give it the different comparator, so the name ascending comparator. And same thing again, after we sort it ascending, we're just going to reverse the list for descending. So before I build and run this, I just want to head back into our detail activity. We need to make our onClick listener work with a sorted list. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm creating a new method that returns a shape given an ID, and I'm just going to call that method and assign it to selected shape. So I've built and run that again, and you can see we can sort now by name or ID, and that seems to all be working. So in order to have a sortable list that you can also filter and them all to work in together, there's actually a few more things we need to iron out. That's what we're going to do next. We're just going to iron out a few bugs. So I'm going to start with something I should have done a very long time ago, and that's create a method for setting the adapter. So I'm just refactoring all of these calls to set adapter and pass it in a list. So you can see I've called that numerous times. I should have done that a long time ago. And then in our ascending tap method, I'm just going to say if our selected filter is equal to all, do what we've already been doing. Otherwise, filter our list based on our selected filter. This ensures that when we sort our list with a filter already applied, it keeps our filter selected. And I'm just going to extract that method and call it from each of our sort buttons. Cool, and the last thing we need to work out is, well, what happens if there's some text in the search view? So that's what we're going to do next. We're going to say if the selected filter is all, but there's nothing in the search text, well then we're going to do what we've already been doing. But if there is something in the search text, we want to do something very similar to what we've been doing in our onQuery text listener method. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to scroll up and I'm going to copy paste down all of this onQuery text change code, and I'm going to get rid of a bunch of the validation-y sort of things. So delete that there, and basically what we want to say is if the current shape contains our current search text, we want to sort our list based on our current filters. Cool, so I've built and run that again, and you can see we've got it working. We can sort by ID, we can sort by name, we can sort with filters already applied, and we can also sort with some text in our search view. When we sort, it's keeping our filtered list intact. I hope you found some use in this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Cheers!